What we're going to do today is we're going to be adding and subtracting rationals. We're going to be doing this all week. We're going to start off with just basic fractions. Some of them are going to have variables and some of them aren't. The first one that we're going to look at has a common denominator. So notice that they both have a denominator of 7. So that means that when the denominators are the same, we keep the denominator the same. And what we do is we add the numerator. 1 plus 5 is 6. So our answer is 6/7. You may think, oh, this is pretty easy. And it is. When the denominators are the same, it is pretty easy. So in the same way, even if our common denominator is an x, our process is going to be the same. We're going to keep our denominator as the same because that's our common denominator, and we're going to subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. So our answer is 1 over x. Now, looking at letter C, we're going to do the same thing. We see that we have a common denominator. The denominator is 5x. So when our denominator is the same, we're going to put the denominator on the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're going to add the numerators. We add the 3 plus the 7. That gives us 10. Now, this one's a little bit more challenging because when you're looking at the numbers, we notice that the 10 and the 5 can actually be reduced. So if we reduce this, this becomes a 1, this becomes a 2. Our answer is 2 over x. Now, with our next three examples, if you look at each one, they do not have a common denominator. So our first step is to find the common denominator. Now, in this first case, the common denominator for 11 and 3 is 33. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a common denominator of 33. Now that's our common denominator. This right here, we need to multiply by 3. 3 times 4 is 12. This one right here, we need to multiply by 11. And the reason that we need to multiply it by 11 is 3 times 11 is 33. That's our common denominator. 12 plus 11 gives us 23. So our answer is 23 over 33. Now with the next one, what we need is a common denominator. I'm going to do this slightly different, and you could kind of decide which way you like to do it. Our common denominator for 5 and x would be 5x. So some people, instead of putting 1, what they like to do is they like to separate it, and it makes a little more sense for them. So notice that on this first example, I just put the 33 once. In this case, I'm putting the 5x twice. The answer is going to end up being the same, whether I use the 33 once or, in this case, the 5x twice. And you'll see in a second. Now, with this one, since our common denominator is 5x, we're multiplying this side by x. I'm multiplying this side by 5. X times 3 is 3x. 3 times 5 is 15. Then I put my common denominator, which is 5x. And what I have is 3x minus 15. Those are not like terms, so I just write it as 3x minus 15. And that right there gives me my answer. So looking at our last example, what we need to do is find the common denominator. We have an x, we have a 3x. So the common denominator would be 3x. Now, in this case, it's slightly different than the other ones because this side, we have to multiply it by a 3. This side, technically we multiply it by a 1, but really we don't multiply it. And the reason why is when we're looking at our common denominator, this is a 3x, this is a 3x, it's the same. So there's no need to multiply it by anything. So what we have is we have a 12 from 3 times 4, and then what we have is a 2. 12 plus 2 is 14 over 3x. And that right there is our answer.